All right, guys, what is going on? What is good? What is good? Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. What'd you guys do? What did you guys do this weekend? Let me see. I am 296 pages in my 361 page book of The Dispossessed. So I will say though, I won't do like a full review of this book, but it was a little hard to follow. But man, some of the philosophical parts absolutely slap. And I see why forget the guy's name. I follow him on YouTube. Jared something. Anyway, he likes this book, so I can see why he likes it. So let me do my intro first, and then I'll get to your responses. I think the chat's member only today. What is good? Leon, Naruto, Ibranith, Jorks, Lama, Jonas, Big James, Felix, Roger, Shay, Z, Marshall, Mason, 2020, Patch, Capitalist, Nicholas, Yuso, Mason Red reviewed last week, rode my dirt bike, and went golfing. Oh, dude, golfing. Man, you like golfing? Well, good for you. It's beyond me, though. If it was me, I'd probably be the drunk guy on the, driving the golf cart around like a retard. That's probably how that would go. Be like, yeah, let's go golfing, and then I would just get drunk and drive everywhere in the golf cart and just totally be obnoxious. And maybe a cigar too. Watched a lot of Mark Douglas. Ooh, very good. Joined his Substack a while ago, and he said like a whole month. Oh, he had a whole month dedicated to that book. Yeah, I'm part of his Substack, the free side though. I'm not part of his paid side. I tell you, man, that guy writes a lot. That guy writes a lot. So how am I supposed to read all these books and, all these Substacks? It's so much, man. It's so much. Naruto read the Bible. Amen. Went to a barbecue at my cousin's house. Daily walks. Went for a run. The usual weekend chores and cleaning. I hate cleaning. It's the worst. It was good, Fernando. Those highs on ES, says Jonas. All right, yeah, I guess we'll get into it then, since we've been here for a minute. So, if you excuse me, if you remember from Friday, I told you I wasn't gonna do it. I told you so. So we won't do that, right? Jordan D, what's good, man, and Oscar. So I won't do that, but right. We talked about these lows in here and how that lower low was a lower low against NQ going higher. And I was saying, I wonder if that's going to be our manipulation portion. And then this ends up being the first accumulation. And then we get our second leg higher for those highs. Because I'm pretty sure I said that on the stream Friday in here. So it is starting to look like that. Not just in the way we went lower, but in the way that we just keep doing the same things with these highs, bro. Like, we keep leaving behind. Okay, check this out. Actually, let's stay on electronic for a second. You see those highs right there? Yeah, they took out Wednesday the 24th, right? And then we just left behind a slightly lower high here and then back into the range. So to me, right, I look at this and I wish this here would have taken that. I would have much rather wanted that. But the market doesn't do always what I want it to, okay? So this is still looking like a buy model. Consolidation, distribution, redistribution, and then manipulation. First leg, and then this is, we've already crossed into a premium here, so it's looking like it wants to seek some sort of discount pricing, right? And that's where the rest of the drawing should come in. So again, that as the consolidation, that as the manipulation. So we crossed 50% on Friday, but we never took the highs here, not until like the evening time / Asia on Sunday, which was awkward, right? We extend overnight again for that, right? And then, like I already said, electronic side has these highs. If we go to regular trading hours on a small time frame, same thing here, right? So the regular trading hours, 67.31 and a quarter. When we go to electronic side, see why that's like that. The lower set here in the regular trading hours, and then electronic side has those at 67.36. So it's, how do I explain this? When I've given you this time and time again, the market, right, builds liquidity and then takes liquidity and then comes back for the original buildup, right? Like we all understand that. So the market, like, let me give you an example. It'll leave a low, right, to rally, build liquidity there to then seek it later. You know what I mean? Build liquidity, seek liquidity. It's like that's how markets operate, right? There's a lot more to it than that, but that's like the basic sense here. So it's like we left liquidity, left it here too, and then we get our important divergence down there. then we seek that first, we seek the second, we seek the third, right? And now it's like, okay, well, we should seek that. But we did it again here. Like, okay, I'm going to leave behind some highs and then drag it lower. So on this run lower, right? If it's enticing shorts, if it's getting people to short this market, that's fine. But to me, it's just going to build that liquidity there, excuse me, and then eventually run for that. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down here? Drop some ones into the chat. You can see this buy model, right? Consolidation, distribution, redistribution, manipulation, first stage, accumulation. So that is kind of like what I'm anticipating here. And look, I could be totally wrong. I could be absolutely wrong. But that's what it's looking like. So we will have to see. Make sense? Let me go over to NQ as well. The levels we talked about on Friday, 24,759, 24,793. I think we talked about both of those. And in case you missed it, the lower set was regular trading hours highs. You should be able to see that in the triple Qs as well. And then above that was you kind of have to zoom in a little bit here, but it's like the next set basically, right? And I'm pretty sure I told you, I'm not going to go back and, clip it or anything like that, but I'm highly convinced I told you that if we were going to get that 759, we might as well go for 798 or 793, sorry. 24,800 basically. So, I mean, we took that again Sunday afternoon, like our open, which was strange. It's like, okay, then you might as well take that too. Whoop. Right up there. Right up there. So, one thing here, let me actually give you some stuff here for the PM session, right? I teach with live price. That's what I want to do. Our opening range gaps are highlighted in blue. Okay. So all that is when you go to RTH regular trading hours and you mark Friday's close to Monday's open. That's what this is here. And the halfway point. That's what that is. ES, okay, has basically traded to the low end of it. Right? That's pretty obvious. And I look at NQ, same thing. Friday's close, right, to Monday's open. And instead of trading to the low end of it, like ES did, it barely missed halfway. So the markets are below equities open here, by the way, but the strength is with NQ. Right, Willow? Looks good. The ES is weaker than NQ. It's not necessarily bad. It's just you can see that retracement, deeper retracement. You know what I mean? On top of that, if we go back to the 1 hour for a second, I would be interested to see what we do here. I'm not going to take that tweet off, but you know how we looked at this like a level of distribution? If this level of distribution, that might here be accumulation. So if this was distribution on the sell side of the curve, this might be reaccumulation on the buy side of the curve, right? Old resistance turns support for the ones who want to try and keep it more simple. That's fine. So that's kind of what my thought process is here. I'm fairly bullish for the PM session today. But yeah, and then Dow is just, I don't even have a comment, honestly. Like, what are we supposed to do with Dow? You know, problem child. What do we do with it? We gapped higher and then immediately traded lower off of it. Right? Gapped higher, immediately lower, immediately beyond that. We do end up trading back into it at 945. Like, perfectly. It overshot that like a point or two, and then it's been trashed. So that's the extent of what I have for you on Dow Jones today. Okay. Longing the laggard is not good for me. So I wouldn't do that. But what questions do you guys have so far today? You guys have any questions for the members in here? I don't even know where silver wants to stop. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm loving this though. I mean, every day I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, are we higher? Are we lower? And it's been printing higher and higher and higher. So some of the coins I got rid of already, I'm like, oh, pulled the trigger a little bit too early on that. But I mean, you know, when you think about it, and you're a part of moves that haven't been seen in decades, how am I supposed to call a top in that? How am I supposed to call a top in this? How? May 2011, we visited 49, at least on the future side. I mean, I don't know if XAG is any different. I mean, but look at that, bro. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? The last time we had movement like this, and it was different back in 09 because the dollar had a lot more value than it does now. So I would say this was more significant than where we are today, right? But even then, it's like, if you're a part of this, and the last time it did something like this, I was in middle school, you know? So what do you do? What do you do with that? I guess 50 is the next stop. It's only at 46 right now, 47 on the future side, roughly. Maybe we get to 50. And that's what I'm saying, Jordan. Like, the last time that happened was 14, 15 years ago. Like, that's a long time. That's a astronomically long time. And gold, same thing. People are trying to pick a top in this. I would not try to do that. I wouldn't try to do that at all. No, they didn't, Jordan. They stuck to their curriculum and their nonsense, you know? All this nonsensical nonsense. So, but, yeah. So I'll have to see. But, I don't know. Part of me wants to sell more silver. Part of me wants to bank the move. And the other part of me is like, well, if we get to all-time highs, this is, you know, it's going to be another $4, $5, $6 an ounce. So, I don't know. Uncharted territory, almost. And that's the thing, like it almost feels like no matter what you do, you make the wrong decision. You sell it and it continues. And then you go, well, I knew I should have held on to it. Or you feel like, well, I'll hold on to it then. And then it drops lower and you go, I knew I should have sold. Knew I should have sold it. You know? You can't win either way. Very rarely it's like, okay, you get out and then that ends up being the high and then it falls off and it's like, okay, I made the right decision. You know what I mean? So we never truly know. And that's why for the last, I don't know how many years now, I have told you guys time and time again, I am absolutely an advocate for taking partials. Because it's halfway. You know what I mean? So if it does go higher, you can still catch part of that move. If it goes lower after you sold it, then it's like, okay, at least you bank some at the high. So it's like the middle ground, basically. Best of both sides, I guess. What's good, Flacco? So we got 80 people on here, man. That's pretty good. We haven't had 80 people in a while, actually. We have not had that in a minute. Let me I'll open the chat. I will open the chat to any and all subscribers. How about that? You guys good with that? That's another good point, Jordan. Seasonality hasn't even hit the metals yet either. That's right. That is absolutely right. We are coming up on that time, though. What's good, Renato? What's good, Leon? Yeah. Again, that lady I told like 6-7 years ago to buy gold like every October. I hope she did. I wonder if she did. Because if she did, she's up. She's going to leave her grandkids something nice. You know what I mean? But I'll never know. We'll never know. What's good, Diesel? Well, I'm pretty good, man. I'm a little bit tired, but overall, I'm pretty good. What's up, Evie? I wouldn't even say the price action is poor. If anybody has poor price action, it's Dow. It's almost always Dow Jones. It's just so in bullish markets, Dow lags, you know? It's just not, it's not fun. It's not fun. Like, matter of fact, if you want to back test something, back test this. Go to a yearly chart. Okay, go to a 12-month chart and measure the open and the close of every year for the triple Qs for like the last 10 years. Right? You have a few down years, but look at the up years, right? And then go to like DIA or DJI and do the same thing. And you're going to see over the last 10 years, my guess, because I haven't done this, but my guess is you're going to look at Nasdaq being up like, let's say 30% or 20%, and Dow's going to be up like 15%, 12%, you know, something like that. Like, it's still up, but it's way less, you know? It's like, it's a waste, really. It's underperformance. What do you usually do to keep your mind sharp besides read? Probably enough caffeine to kill a bear, honestly. I'm just kidding. I don't know, man. I actually had somebody comment something similar last night. They were like, "Oh, I wish I had as much logic as you one day. I'm like, what does that even mean? I'm like, what does that even mean? Look, I'll put it to you this way too. There was a barista at Starbucks who found out the type of car that I drive, right? Was super excited. And it's always the young people too that do this. They always get excited. You know, I want that one day. Oh, you're so smart. You're so this, that, and the third. And I was immediately like, thank you, Mason. I was like, I'm absolutely not a genius. 100% guaranteed. I put money on that. Okay. I'm not. Slightly above average at best. I'm just older. I have more experience. That's all. That's all it is. It's just experience. You know, if you're 20, 25, bro, I'm about to be 32. I have like 6 years of more life experience than you do. And I do spend a lot of time reading, yes. So that is part of it, right? But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, life offers lessons every day. Most people just don't pay attention. Thank you, Jonas. Flacco turns 21 next month. Yeah, you're a baby. And that's okay. That is okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. When was the last backtesting homework you gave us? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I used to give it out a lot and then nobody would do it. So I gave up on that. Just like book of the month. I'm like, all right, well, I'll just make a book page, post my favorite books there, and then you can either read them or don't. Started trading in junior year of high school. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Yeah, that I don't know if that has ever happened to you, but if you ever get to that point where you make some decent money in a day and you go, yeah, my teacher doesn't even make this. Things might get awkward. You know what I mean? Things might get awkward. But I wouldn't tell a soul. Wouldn't tell a soul. I would leave that in high school and even like college especially. I wouldn't tell a single person. Hey man, what do you do? My best. What do you do? Leave it at that. Or tell them you press buttons. They'll think you play video games. That's fine. So I press buttons and I do my best. That's what I do. I had someone say that to our teacher. Eesh. That's pretty rough. That is pretty rough. Oh, your art teacher? I never told you guys about my 2 art teachers, did I? They were probably lesbians now that I think about it. I never thought about that until just now. But anyway, when I was in middle school, we had 3 years of middle school. And we had 2 old art teachers. I failed both classes. I took them like, I don't know if it was 1 year and then the next year or like the second and the third year, but I failed art both times. Yeah, I did Adam for a little bit. No, I did, bro. I failed art twice, which is insane because you would think, ooh, the continuation lower on ES and kind of just a floating NQ. And Dow is hungover at best, honestly. I forgot what I was saying. But art, was never about what it should have been. It really just should have been a free class. Come in here, draw, paint, color. I think we did like a clay thing one time. We made pots and pans or something, which all were stupid. We screwed all that up, but it ended up just becoming more academic, right? Oh, what year did Pablo Picasso do this and do that? And, you know, what type of art became popular in the Renaissance and all this stuff. I'm like, this is so stupid. Why does anybody need to know this? I'm like, what, 14, 15, 16 years old? What are we doing here? This is stupid. And my teachers, man, bro, they hated me. Like, if this was still the days where teachers could take a paddle to their students, they would have absolutely massacred me. They were always so mean. Just mean old geezers. Yeah, Jordan. You know, the level of freedom that we have in trading is the level of freedom that we should have had in the arts class. You know what I mean? That's what it should have been. I think that's why a lot of people are drawn to entrepreneurship. I think that's why a lot of people are drawn to investing and to day trading, because it gives them a level of freedom that they otherwise would not receive anywhere else. Unless you just quit your job and, I don't know, just became a bum. I mean, but that's different. That's crazy, Flacco. No, I agree. I 100% agree. Freedom is great, but you do need structure, of course. I'm not saying go to arts class, get high, and fall asleep. I'm not saying that. Not that I've ever done that. I wouldn't know. Because we wouldn't remember, right? But in art, it's okay to color outside the lines, paint outside the lines. You know? Stuff like that is what I mean. Like we made a cup and handle, right? Or like a pot of some sort. You know, why does a pot have to have one handle on it? Why can't it have two? Why can't it have three? Why can't the handle be bigger than the actual cup itself? You start you seeing what I mean? Like, what's wrong with being different and thinking outside the box a little bit? And that's my point, is they did not allow us to do that. And if you did, you got, you know, points taken off. So it's just a school is a massacre of creativity. It's dullness. Instead of teaching you how to think, they teach you what to think. It's awful. I wish the entire thing would be rewritten. I did take a Photoshop class once too. That was fun. Yeah. Anyway, I read all your comments. Trade school's lit. I'm doing HVAC right now. Better get used to the heat, my boy. You better get used to being in attics and shit that are 120 degrees. But I think HVAC folks do pretty well. I think they do pretty well. Oh, you know what we didn't do? Now that I think of it, because none of you reminded me. I wonder if there's going to be a time element to this. As in, getting to the buy side liquidity before the amount of time it took to create the sell side of the curve. Again, I have no idea. We may have even passed it already. That would be interesting if we got like a massive run up. That would be interesting to see. Max Muse, nice. Says Dark Horse by Todd Rose. What is that about? And I have so many books. It's absurd. Like I might not even be able to, if I didn't buy any books for the next like 5 years, I probably could finish everything I have. Maybe like 3 years. I might be overestimating, but there's quite a few books I have not read that I still have. What are some steps for us traders to take to keep more in our pockets from profits of trading, like create an LLC or something? So look, Roger, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, man. I'm gonna tell you, a lot of us YouTubers, right? We talk about financial markets and we talk about strategies and all that kind of stuff. What we do here is damn near financial advice. Okay? This is why I'm so adamant about having the rolling disclaimer, and in the videos the risk disclaimer on screen comes up at the beginning of every video, right? Because I'm not a financial advisor. I am not a licensed financial advisor. I cannot legally give financial advice, right? But a lot of people would look at live streaming and, you know, strategy videos and entries and exits and profits and partials and all this shit. People can possibly view that like it's financial advice. And I don't want that. You can get in a lot of trouble for that. And it is the same when it comes to what you're asking for, which is under the umbrella of tax advice. I don't give that either. I don't give tax advice. So I would say at the most, follow the law of the country that you live in. How's that? AI has been a blessing too. What does that even mean, Jordan? What does that mean? What we need is some AI tools to help identify some of the stuff that we've talked about over the years. Can you teach us how to tax evade? Yo. Flacco. Bro. You know, it's like, I don't know, man. People just, it's like you guys hate me or something. What was it that I did that made you just want to hate me with a passion? What was it? Was it the cussing? Is that what I did? Did I cuss too much, bro? I mean, gosh, help me out here. Oh, AI has been a blessing with your business and your income / productivity. Yeah, I can agree. I've used AI for some stuff. Yeah, Jonas, do your own research. You think that's funny, Renato? You think that's funny? He said move to Panama. All right, bro. Please no tax evasion in my chat. Okay? No tax evasion in my chat. You take that to Telegram or, I don't know, somewhere else. Leave me out of it. Yeah, let's get back on track. Mason said NFP week. Yeah, okay. That's a good point. So we have pretty much nothing today except for Australian dollar cash rate tonight. That might be interesting. So tomorrow on the 30th, we do have Jolt's job openings at 30 minutes after our open. That would be 9 a.m. Central. So we do have that. And then on Wednesday, pre-market, we have ADP non-farm employment change. And then again at 9 o'clock, ISM manufacturing PMI. Thursday, pre-market unemployment claims. And then Friday, unemployment rate, also pre-market. Let me tell you something. Come Friday's stream, okay? Come Friday's stream. If we do not trade to this buy-side liquidity before then, dude, I'll be shocked. I will be absolutely shocked. Get an accountant that specializes in your style of trading. Dude, I can tell you right now, man. I remember, I don't think I ever told you guys this story. So, my first year, first trade I ever took. Y'all remember that one I told you about? I put some money into this IBIO stock. It was I think it was like 20 cents or 30 cents or something, and then boom, sold it at $1.11. You know, made almost like $2,000 or something. I was like, okay, this is awesome. And of course, I took some other trades. I took a lot of trades, and the problem is that first year I never reported it. I didn't know you had to, you know. So the IRS came knocking like 2 or 3 years later, you know, getting letters in the mail and stuff saying, oh, you owe us, you know, thousands of dollars. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So at the time I was in the Navy, and I went to like what you call them JAG officers, I think. It's basically like legal men and I'm sure financial advisors and whatever else. And I remember it was the weirdest interaction I ever had. It was the strangest thing. You know, I set an appointment with some people that I thought knew what was going on. Like I thought they knew, you know, stuff. Because I was 21, maybe 22 at the time. And so, you know, I go to this appointment, I walk in and I start talking to this guy, and, you know, I show him like the IRS letters and I show him like my trading and stuff. And it's a long list, bro. I mean, this thing is like a packet. I'm buying this, selling that, doing this, doing that, maybe a dividend here or two, whatever. Like I was all over the place. And this guy was like, he looks at me and he's like, I think you're money laundering. He didn't laugh. I mean, it's funny to me now, but he was like, I think you're money laundering. And I was like, what? You think if I was money laundering, I would purposely set an appointment with a JAG officer at legal, knowing that you guys could put me in fucking handcuffs like right now? You really think I'd do that? So, needless to say, I was like, all right, man, let me just get out of here then. So clearly you're not going to help. So I ended up going to H&R Block, I think, and paid them, I don't know, $300 or $400, and they fixed everything for me. So, but yeah, it was just the weirdest, absolute strangest thing ever. money laundering through penny stocks. I don't know. That's weird to me. Like, why do people assume that other people who operate in an area that they don't understand automatically think you're some sort of genius? You know what I mean? Like, if I met, let's say, a aerodynamics engineer that worked at NASA or something like that, I'd be like, oh yeah, you're pretty smart. But that's probably what they know. They probably don't know a wide array of things. They probably know space engineering and probably some math, you know? So I wouldn't automatically assume that they were a genius, right? Yeah, so that people are just strange. And that's always been a thing. Seriously. So anyway, we haven't done a lot on small time frames today. I was really trying to keep things on a larger perspective for you. Made a lower low on ES, lower low on NQ. Still have not reached that halfway point. And Dow is slightly higher here. So I don't know if that's gonna mean anything or not. It may. It's hard to tell here, honestly. So I guess we'll know more later. But I feel like keeping the higher time frame perspective is what's important, you know? It's not always about 1 minute, 5 minute time frames. Sometimes it's about the higher time frames. And the 1 hour is fairly decent amount of higher time frame. Excuse me. I don't know if you guys heard that. But yeah, if you guys don't have any questions, this is pretty much it. We're at the 1 p.m. Macro, by the way. So we may see a little bit of movement here, maybe. But yeah. Nah, we don't do the 30-minute around here. The 30-minute was banned many years ago. I don't like it. I just don't like it. Yes, price is fractal. You know what I mean? It is. Could I trade the 30-minute? Yeah, probably so. But I banned it. I banished it. I said, we're not doing this anymore. Goodbye. That was it. So I don't do 30 minutes. 30-minute time frames. Thank you, Neb. After Trump speaks, markets might move. Is he supposed to speak today? Because I only have the red folder news on here. And I don't see anything else for today. Only the next thing that we have is job jolts tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Would you wait for a smaller time frame confirmation right now at the current gap price? Since we want the lower half to be respected. Yeah, I agree, Dark. I don't know who was in charge of naming that, but it absolutely was not me. Someone was probably like, we have an electrifying jobs. It's jolting, right? So we're like, okay, we'll just do Jolt's job. Actually, Jolt is probably an acronym for something, but I just don't know what it is. Okay, here, I'll leave you with this. Since you brought it up. I meant to say this earlier and I forgot. Because you guys let me rant a lot. Someone asked in the Discord, and I did give you an answer. Someone asked, I think, about, trading around these gaps. Look, we spoke extensively last week about quadrants, right? Did we not do that? Oh, he speaks at 1:30. Oh, yeah, he's probably going to shake and bake. You know what I'm saying? Fry some accounts. But you can trade these quadrants. You know what I mean? Like, you could buy the 25% level, or you could buy the 50% level in the anticipation that we're not going to fill. Basically, like trade down here. You know what I mean? Like you can do that. You can say, okay, I'll long at halfway. Stop definitely does not go down there. Right? Something like that. Aiming for a new high of day, 1 to 3. Aiming for those highs. Probably, I doubt is going to happen today, but at least, you know, something like that. You can do the same thing there too. You can long at 25%. You could put your stop at 75 or lower. You know what I mean? Like I've done that before too. Or if you want, like you said, if you wanted to wait, right, for those levels and then trade like a smaller concept near them, that would be okay too. So I'm not really sure, because again, we didn't spend any time on the 1 minute time frame, but you know, you have that quadrant level here, the 25, right? And you have the inversion model here, which again, we did not watch. I did not spend time on the 1 minute with you guys today. I really didn't want to, but so you could tailor an entry to something like that. You know, I could see that. Basically, here, I'll leave you with this. You can trade the quadrant levels themselves, just like fib levels, basically, like the lazy traders model. Or you could tailor, you know, the entries to the concepts if you like, to be a little bit more precise, or maybe have a little bit of a tighter stop loss or something. Like, yeah, you could do that. But that's essentially what I was trying to say, is these gaps are tradable. You can trade the quadrant levels or concepts near them. So, like for right now, I think I said this earlier, I do feel bullish because we have some internal highs here. ES traded below its gap. NQ has not. It still can. You know what I mean? But I feel like, you know, the strength is with NQ, and if it wants to trade higher, it could. But we won't know. Yeah, price grading, basically. Which time frame do you recommend to beginners? As much as I want to say all of them, I would say daily, right? Focus a lot on the daily time frame, and then drop down 5, 15, 1 hour, whatever you want. But if you try to go against, right, the higher time frame, it may not work well for you. Just like on Friday, how we explained already, this happens all the time. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday lower. Friday's typically reversal day. Did it have the best up day in the world? No. But did it still provide buying below the open conditions? Yeah. All right, this will be the last one. What's your favorite book from Ryan Holiday? Probably Stillness is the Key. Everyone who's read that likes it, or at least hasn't told me they didn't like it, but they like that one. I like that one. I like Ryan's work a lot. He has really started to include more of his liberal ideas in his works, and it irks me to say that. It really does. So outside of that, you know, 1 or 2 pages of liberalism, I'm not going to throw out the entire book, you know, because of 1 or 2 pages of some tomfoolery. I might look at that and be like, okay, bro, like, all right, I might rip this page out, but everything else, like, I'll keep, you know what I mean? That's his works have slowly started to be more of that, you know? So I don't like that, but I don't think Stillness really had too much of that in it. But yep, y'all be good, be blessed. we'll be here same time, same place tomorrow on Tuesday for the last day of the month. And then we're right into October on Wednesday. That's crazy. We're almost in October already. That's wild. So, yep, be good. Be blessed. I'll see you tomorrow.